All right, class. So we're going to be talking about destinations as tourism generators. A destination can cause or generate tourism. All right. So this is not in the book that you purchased for this class. This is taken from something else, but I felt it was important to include this because the book kind of takes a lot of this stuff as a matter of fact. So I wanted to take a little break from the book to get into this. All right. So when we're talking about tourism, we're talking about our destinations. We're talking about domestic or international. Domestic would be within your country. Here in the United States, that means within the 50 states as a part of the union, right? So in domestic, in the United States, we have to think about what our big destinations are. There are primary destinations and there are secondary destinations. Our entire nation, every town, every street corner in this nation could be a secondary destination. Okay, and let's explain that. So your primary destinations is a place that generate the big broad markets that draw the travelers in from other places. If I'm going to Disneyland, I'm going to Disneyland or Disney World. Disney World is a better example because as we get there, you'll see. So we're going to Disney World. That is my destination. It's a big draw, high visitor demand, but the secondary is the things along the way. If we're driving down that 995 corridor, there are a lot between here and Florida, or uh, I can't even think of the name of the town, but Disney World, Orlando. Boy, between here and Orlando, there's a lot of places to stop. Those are your secondary destinations. Some of those draw more people than the primary ones, maybe for just less periods of time. Everybody will stop here, whether or not they're going to this major destination or this major destination or this destination. But if they're in the route for all three, everybody stops there, and only a third stops at the other ones. So that's why they can be more popular, right? Or have more draw, have more visitors. Um, Perfect example: driving down the I-95 corridor, you'll start to see signs probably right as soon as you get on 95. You'll start seeing signs for what? South of the border, right? South of the border was nothing more than a couple guys who opened, I believe it was an ice cream shop. Oh no, it was because in the 50s, 50 some on, 54 or whatever, North Carolina was still a dry state primarily. It was by county, but most of the counties in North Carolina were dry. So people they opened a beer stand and they called it south of the border. And then they had somebody there that was named Pedro, and that it took off from there. So that if you've ever stopped there, it's really stupid. It's just a gas station and a restaurant, and it's there's nothing primary destination ish about it. It is definitely a secondary destination, but there's a lot of hype and a lot of people stop there. All right, so reasons for leisure travel. Why do people go places other than the obvious, right? And these are just some. Visiting family. So your primary destination is visiting family. You have secondary destinations along the way. Shopping might be a primary destination. When I was a kid, young kid, shopping was done in downtowns. That was it. That was it. Downtown, that was it. And then they started doing malls, and malls themselves, Mall of America, or whatever, it became a tourism destination. And then what changed? What took the place of malls as far as being a tourism destination, especially in domestic travel, would be the outlets, the outlet malls. All right, because when I was a kid, an outlet was basically the little store at the factory where they sold the rejects. That's all it was, right? But now it's morphed into something else. Visiting friends, that's same as family. Fine dining, people will travel to restaurants. I worked in Raleigh at this time, or actually Holly Springs, at a tiny little hole in the wall seafood restaurant. Nothing to write home about. They found a niche. They started doing really fancy 200, 300, 400, and then their goal is to make $1,000 margarita, not margarita, Bloody Mary, with the crabs and the whole nine yards. They actually, I'm still on their social media. Every day they'll have somebody who has a testimony that they flew in from San Francisco or London to get the Bloody Mary. All right. So sightseeing could be another thing. All right. So urban destinations. Urban destinations are interesting because the city itself could be a destination, and then the little things within the city could be destinations. But if you've ever been to one of those major metropolitan areas, New York, London, San Francisco, LA, uh, I'm pausing with LA because what I'm about to say, LA doesn't play. But some of those cities, just stepping out of the bus or off the plane, just being there is an experience, right? LA is, yeah, it's an experience. But um, there's nostalgia, there's excitement in the air. The city that never sleeps in the song about New York, London. London doesn't sleep at all. So just being in those places, London, Paris, Tokyo, um, sometimes just being there. And then from there, you have your other destinations, but they're primary destinations within a bigger primary destination, really. All right. So let's just say you're a secondary market. You're not a great big metropolitan area. People will go to New York to go to New York. People will go to Paris to go to Paris. People will go wherever. You get the picture. But let's say you have a city that was centered around maybe not attractions as much. It was centered around finance or industry or something like that. So you want to bring people in. So a good way to do that is build a convention center. Convention centers are great. If you have the opportunity to visit our convention center in Wilmington, please do so. Actually, you can look online if you're looking for a job. They're a great place to get extra hours because of their there's not a lot of full-time positions there, but there's a lot of flexible part-time stuff there. Great organization. Now, one of the reasons why those things are great is because, let's say, like I said, Paris is Paris. It's a destination because it's Paris. London is London. It's a destination because it's London. New York is a destination because it's New York. Pig Knuckle, Arkansas is not a destination because it's Pig Knuckle, Arkansas. They might have a very good convention center that draws people in and different things. And then now that convention center brings people in and it generates that travel to that place. It makes it a destination. The destination now is whatever is at the convention center. Very good things for cities to create a primary destination through none of your own infrastructure, right? We're a primary destination this week while these people are at the convention center. All right, it generates jobs, not just at the convention center. People visit the convention center, they come to our city, they say, "Hey, wow, I never heard of this city. It's a really nice place." They spend some time there. They might come back to the city and not the convention center. And even if they're there just for the convention center, they're eating at our restaurants, they're shopping at our stores and whatever, and staying at our hotels. All right, casinos are huge. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but gambling is huge. One of the most lucrative type of destinations in the United States and in the world are casinos. Las Vegas, when we think of casinos, we think of Las Vegas. We think of gambling, we think of Las Vegas. Affordable lodging, various entertainment. Las Vegas now touts itself as a family oriented tourist destination. That Sin City as a family or destination doesn't seem very smart, but they've done a very good job of compartmentalizing. Yes, they still have the things that are more adult, but they understand that adults have children. So families will do family stuff during the day. The kids will stay at the hotel and the room at night, and mom and dad down there in the casino doing what mom and dad do at casinos. All right. Lots of food and beverage, and a lot of important stuff in Vegas. Atlantic City is basically the same, not the same, but it is another place for gambling on the East Coast in New Jersey. It's gone through its ups and downs. Doesn't quite have the reputation as Las Vegas. Uh, Now we're starting to see a lot of casinos on the Mississippi Gulf Coast or any internet or national waterway. Uh, the states are the ones that illegalize gambling. There is no federal law against it. So if it's a federal property, i.e., a federally regulated area like waterways, like the Mississippi River, then you're going to see it. And then the same is true for because the casinos on Indian reservations, because they don't follow any laws except their own. All right, so here we go. All right, we're starting to see some international competition from China and other Asian countries. Let's talk about national parks real quick. Really big draw in the United States. That's your domestic tourism on steroids. You got places like the Great Smoky Mountains National Forest in Tennessee and North Carolina. Uh, Beautiful place. If you've never been there, go. Grand Canyon, Zion, Rocky Mountains, Yosemite. They're built around sustainability. These national parks were set aside not as vacation spots as much as they were to set aside property to make sure that it doesn't just get overdeveloped and developed and ruined. All right, so they're a good part of sustainability and protecting wildlife. Some people will look at it, oh, it's commercialism. They're taking this beautiful place and they're actually protecting the places. Okay, so let's move forward. All right, so you have national forests. We're a little different. These are forests that are areas that are owned by the federal government, regulated by the federal government, protected by the federal government, but the usage is a little different. When I was a kid, about 3/4 of my state was national forest. We could go into national forest, do it, just go without the national parks. You had to pay to get in there, and you had little areas that you go in. The national forest, you just go. If you wanted to hunt, you just go to the national forest. All right, hiking, different stuff like that. All right, state parks are very similar, but they're owned by states. You would think that Niagara, one of the biggest natural draws in our country, was a national park, but it's actually a New York State park. All right, a lot of them will have mostly daytime visitors, depend on the state. My state, we had a lot of state parks where people spent, camping and stuff like that. A lot of career opportunities in parks, whether state or federal. Anyway, hospitality is hospitality wherever you go. Okay, so shopping, big thing for shopping is the what I said before, the outlet malls. But it could be something different, right? When I said New York is New York, you go to New York for New York's sake. Some people go to New York just to shop at a specific job or a specific store. All right. So amusement parks, we all know that Disneyland is the granddaddy of them all. Yes, it is. That's a theme park. Before that, there was these little amusement parks with rides, but no theme or anything like that. Major revenue generators. Largest single site employer in the country is Walt Disney World. That means that, yes, there's companies with more employees, but they're spread over to multiple locations. At that one place, more people work there than anywhere else in the United States. All right, so you'll see a lot of different ones. Cities are almost theme parks. If you've ever been to Hershey, Pennsylvania, the entire city is a theme park. Every city street in Hershey is lined with street lights that are shaped like Hershey Kisses. All right, it's all part of it. Zoos and aquariums, another big thing. They're very similar to theme parks, just a slightly different way to enjoy yourself. All right. So day trips and staycations have become a big thing. Staycation is staying at home to do your vacation. Okay. Now we're seeing a lot, and we're seeing a lot of this due to the economy, doing people's life cycles or uh, um, lifestyles. So the secondary uh, destinations have become primary destinations. So it's very important. It's very important that you understand that shift. All right. So I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to have another short video on international. Well, it's not going to be much, but I don't want to rush it like I already have. All right. So I'll see you in the second video. Maybe.